Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Local Legends. We've got Timothy Hardy here in the house with us.
What's up? What's up?
So today we're going to be talking about, Tim's experience going through real estate. And we're also going to bring up, some apparently controversial,
Oh yeah,
social media stuff that I
very,
made and everything.
very controversial, but good though. Good and needed for sure.
Absolutely. So why don't we get off the bat, Timothy, introduce us to yourself and a little bit
Yeah,
about what you do.
yeah. So I'm Tim Hardy. I'm currently with Listing Leaders. And if you guys know about Listing Leaders, they are a franchise with different, franchise underneath.
Hmm.
So in Indiana, I'm with Listing Leaders Corporate, and in Illinois, I'm the managing broker for Listing Leaders Northwest.
Gotcha.
And so I've been licensed. This would be 5 years. Five
Nice.
years into the business, I came in doing the AKA crazy COVID market.
Yeah.
And what a time, bro.
Yeah.
Man, dude, like being a new agent at that time. I mean, it was good because dude, like you'll get licensed on a Tuesday. By Thursday, you're cranking out your first deals,
Right.
But the issue was now you're going against, multiple offers and agents who've been in the business for a long time, and
Yeah.
you trying to like write $40,000 over asking price offers and stuff like that. And so I came in during that period, which I do believe gave me a good training ground.
Hmm.
But now fast forward to today, I'm involved in a lot, bro.
Yeah.
So again, I'm a managing broker. I have my own real estate team over in Indiana.
Hmm.
I am the school director for Listen Leaders. And then also too, I also invest in real estate as well. So a
Nice.
little bit of everything, man.
Yeah, you got wearing a lot of hats for sure.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So, what really brought you into the industry? Because I'm assuming this is probably not your first career, right? That you've had
Correct.
other things you've done before.
Correct.
What were you doing before? What led you to this, and what made you make the jump?
Man, this was like a full 360, bro. I was a college athlete.
Okay.
I played basketball, and just a turn of events, I ended up injuring my knee.
Hmm.
And at that point, I redshirted 1 year. If you don't know what redshirt is, basically you're sitting out a year, to regroup.
Sure.
But during that time frame, man, I kind of like my life flashed before my eyes, man. It was like, okay, like I'm putting all my eggs in this basket. I wanted to be a professional athlete. But then, like, I had an economics class that kind of really dove into like macro and microeconomics. We started talking about mortgages, we started talking about credit cards and stuff like that, and something just sparked in me, bro.
Hmm.
And from that point, I just got really curious and things of that sort. So fast forward to 2020 when I got my license. My wife and I, we were getting tax returns at that time,
Hmm.
and her and I were just like, what can we do, with our tax return to set our family up for legacy?
Yeah.
We both said at the same time real estate.
Hmm.
So before that, I was working in a grammar school as a behavioral interventionist. So basically, meaning resetting kids. I've had to restrain kids and all that stuff
Hmm.
like that. And I'm like, bro, this ain't for me, man.
No, exactly.
I'm like, bro, this ain't for me, man. I got to get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
And so took a real estate class with Listen Leaders. And from there, man, my life just forever changed.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir,
I
bro.
love it.
Yes, sir.
So now, like, going into, what you do today, like, what does a typical day look like for someone like yourself?
Man, not normal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that, man. Just because, again, because I got my hand in so much, I really, really, really have to map out my day
Hmm.
to make sure each aspect of my business is functioning.
Yeah.
So, I still prospect.
Hmm.
I still cold call. So that's encompassed in my day. Then I'm spending time on strategy and thinking about some different things to help my team grow their individual business.
Hmm.
Also handling, day-to-day operations for the brokerage as a managing broker. So honestly, man, each day looks totally different because I still actively broker as well.
Hmm.
So I still run my broker business. And so right now, man, I'm in this phase, John. I got to tell you, man, I'm in this phase of just delegating things and getting more help,
Yeah.
because I don't believe that there's like any chance to be efficient at all of this stuff as a one man show,
Right.
and coming from the athletic background and being on sport teams and stuff,
Hmm.
like I understand like the destination of winning a championship and winning it all, man. You need all pieces,
Hmm.
So I'm just in this phase, man. I'm just like, hey, I need help here. I'm hiring an admin, to help me with the school, and I'm hiring support to help me with my broker business, man. So my day to day, to answer your question, bro, it just varies, man. I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head there, right? Like, you can't play all the positions at the same time,
You can't
right?
do it, man.
And so I think it's I feel like that's the first like real evolution of a business owner is going from being that one person show to now having a team and everyone knows what they're supposed to do and everyone's doing that, right? Um,
Exactly. Because, man, to piggyback off that, man, when I first came into the industry, like most people in the real estate class, I mean, like they're getting their cues from what they're seeing in the media,
mhm,
regarding real estate, right?
right,
What they're watching on YouTube, HGTV. But I don't think it really clicks that we are business owners
right,
until you actually get in this thing. You know what
for
I mean?
sure,
And
yeah,
like I had to be real myself. Like I had not been operating my business as a business owner. I really
hmm,
been operating it as a side hustle for the first few years of my business.
right,
But then like when you lock in and you like, yo, like if I don't go out every day and be proactive with marketing myself
hmm,
and getting in front of people and building systems of follow up and things of that sort, I will never really see the continuity of my business. You know what I
right,
mean? To continue to thrive even in slower periods of the market, like in the wintertime and stuff.
yeah,
And so, I've been at this phase in the last few years of my business of building things out on systems to run itself.
hmm,
I heard a
yeah,
really good business owner say, "You're not successful at your business unless you're able to fire yourself."
right, exactly,
You
yeah.
know?
So, and piggyback off of that point too, right? Like, there's, I guess like one of the biggest things that I came to realize over the last couple of months is, there's really those like four sections, right? So you've
Yep.
got like marketing, which is able to be seen before you're known,
Yep.
and be able to be seen, known, liked, and trusted, and everything else.
Yeah.
That softens the sales, right? Which is where
100%.
I think a lot of like, especially mortgage lenders, but real estate agents can be this way too. I feel like where if you just live in the sales world where all you're doing is making the cold calls and everything else, it's great. You're still going to do some business,
Yeah.
but there's so much more you could be doing
Absolutely.
if you had the marketing piece behind it, right?
That's a strong point. Yeah.
And then you've got your operations, which this is where I feel like, and then correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be. I don't really know if any business, like let's say you're a real estate agent or you own a
Mhm.
restaurant, right?
Mhm.
Like you're not getting paid as a real estate agent to really open the door, maybe negotiate the contract. You could probably argue that.
Mhm.
Or like if you own a restaurant, you're not getting paid to give somebody the meal.
Mhm.
Where the sale comes in is getting the person to actually come to your restaurant or to sign your
Mhm.
buyer's agreement, right?
Mhm.
So that's where the marketing and the sales comes into play. Operations
Mhm.
just supports that and it allows sales to go do what they need to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then finance, obviously you got to make money as well, which then fuels everything else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, going to like the post that what we had sparked this conversation,
Yeah.
I think that, a lot of I feel like a lot of agents, potentially could be leaning on, oh, I'm going to use, Zillow or I'm going to use realtor.com or
Yeah.
whatever it is to get these leads in.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like if you are leveraging, you can still leverage lead sources and still be totally fine.
100%. Yeah.
But if you're doing that and you're not working your own pipeline or your own sphere at all, well, then you really are going to be replaced at a certain degree,
100%. Yeah.
and at that point, there's not that there's no value that agent brings to the table, but there's less value than somebody who networks and is able to build relationships because that person is the marketing and the sales
Yeah.
versus leveraging a tool of marketing and sales that they don't need you. They can find somebody else to go show that property.
Yeah, man. Man, you said so many great nuggets, man. One of the things you said, man, like, so you are right that marketing and sales process is really what we're getting paid to do. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, there are some agents who are just getting paid to open doors, bro.
For sure.
And I think that the difficulty is first of all, I believe that we are seeing a mass exodus,
Hmm.
of a lot of those low hanging fruit, that's falling off.
Yeah.
But a lot of them didn't really put the correct intentionality and attention into their actual business practices, right? Like, first of all, we deal with contracts, right? And we deal with being able to market ourselves adequately and things of that sort. Some people are just like, yo, like, I just want to show homes to get paid. Like I don't I
Right.
don't want to put anything into my business. And
Right.
like, at times where the market is hot, you may get a family member who call you who, you don't really have to market yourself to. They're just going to you just because of the relationship and stuff like that. And
Right.
you open the door, you're writing a contract based on whatever they want, you get it accepted and you're getting paid.
Right.
And it's like, those type of people, they're the one-offs, right? they're
Right.
they're the ones, okay, I'll do a deal every now and then and things of that sort.
Yeah.
But the ones who are actually building a sustainable business have all of the intangibles that you just mentioned,
Right.
right? So I have the element of the salesmanship. I know how to sell myself and sell my service, right? I
Hmm.
have the element of marketing, but then also too, I have the capacity and the competency
Hmm.
to be able to, negotiate high level deals, right?
Right.
And get the best deal for my client.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
100%. And I think that, like that literally is marketing, sales, and then operations, right?
Absolutely.
And so, like, I've, and, I'm not gonna mention any names or whatever, but I've seen it happen before multiple times on these different deals where, like, I'll get a contract in and, we're working the deal, we're going through, we're ready to get it closed. And then, the seller's agent calls me because they think there's a mistake on the closing disclosure.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, no, like your seller agreed to maybe
Yep.
covering these title fees or issuing
Yep.
this credit,
Yep.
before, like when you guys signed the agreement. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't read the contract? Like, I don't know if I would be saying that
Yeah.
out loud right now.
Right.
Um, and again, like, I'm not ripping on just agents. Like, lenders do
Sure.
this too, right? Like,
100%.
there's any profession at all
100%.
has these people in it.
100%.
And I think that, like, the point of, and the post that we were talking about, like, I think that like me, I was really actually asking a question that I saw
Yeah.
something. It
That's
wasn't
what I
my
that's what I gather from it
it
for
wasn't
sure.
my perspective.
Yeah.
But two, like, I think it's healthy for us to attack those people in the industry that are giving the industry a bad name, regardless of what industry you're in, right?
Yeah.
Because if you prune those people out, it's going to leave a better experience for consumers in
100%.
general.
100%.
And that's another reason why I don't know what the average consumer thinks about the whole NAR settlement and everything,
Right.
but I would imagine most consumers don't care and or are probably happy that it happened because they've had an experience. They know somebody who's had an experience, and
Mhm.
negativity is always going to trump whatever
100%.
positive experience somebody has in anything,
100%.
right?
100%.
And so, I think that, if you are like, this is what got me to the point I'm at now is I'm 26 right now. I've been in the business since I was 18.
Mhm.
And like, imagine me running around with a clipboard at 18 years old trying to get people a loan, right? Like, nobody's going to
Right.
trust me, right?
Right.
No agent's going to trust me with their deals. No client's going to trust me with their loans. Still
Right.
sold like 13 loans my first year. Second year was 26. Third year was like 50, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But what I really did to separate myself, and I think it was really beneficial that I got in the business at that age to have to know how to do this, is I was like, okay, I might not be the one that looks seasoned or has the experience, but I'm just going to know everything about these loans. So if a client asks me a question, not only can I give them the answer to it right off the bat, but I can also say, here's something else you need to look into as
That's so
well.
good, bro.
Because, and so by me, like, subtly flexing the knowledge that I've gained, through reading guidelines, looking at
Mhm.
examples and everything else to these
Mhm.
clients,
Mhm.
like, if a client calls me today, it'd be our first conversation. I can tell you exactly what program they're going to go with, how much they need to put down, how much, what their DTI is going to be, like all that
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just because, I feel like I had to put in the extra work because of my age at the time. And if people took a mentality like that into their own business,
100%.
like, one, it's going to help them get more business, but two, it's going to give that consumer a better experience and
100%.
allow them to have more confidence.
100%, man. Dude, man, this is so good, man. Because, obviously, I bring a lot of the athletic world into the business world.
Yeah,
Like what athlete doesn't train at a high level for ultimate performance.
exactly.
Like no boxer is just sitting on their butt, eating zebra cakes and stuff like that before a fight. Like
Right.
no, like they're locking in, building their skill and building their competency. And one thing that my mentor shared with me when I first came into the business, he says that competency is compensation in this business.
Absolutely.
When you build your level of awareness, you build your skill, your marketing skills, when you build your knowledge about the industry, like it essentially will pay off,
Mhm.
and here's the thing, like a lot of times it pay off in experience. Like
Yeah.
when I first came into the business, I didn't close my first deal until 6 months into the business,
Mhm.
right? I was still working another job. My mentor called me and he was trying to encourage me. He was like, man, just keep at it. You're gonna close your first deal. And I had to tell him, I said, man, like I'm not mad. I
Yeah.
said, because quite honestly, like I feel like I've been paid on the experience that I've been getting,
Yep.
on showing homes, on writing offers, on being, and I feel like I'm gaining that confidence and being able to get my footing to where someday, like it's just going to be a domino effect. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
that confidence just to be able to kind of crank things out.
Yeah.
So 100%, like you said, man, you hit the nail on the coffin, man. Like competency, man, like really, really, really pays. And the thing is like tenured agents and also new agents, man, like you always gonna have those bad apples,
Mhm.
and I'm really never one to speak bad about, the agents in our industry. I feel
Mhm.
like, there needs to be a more of a collaborative effort anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously we're all competitors at our respective brokerage,
For
but
sure.
at the end of the day, we need to have respect for one another,
Absolutely.
but like when you gain more experience in this industry and you start to really see between the lines of, what some of the agents do, to their clients and things like that, and rip them off,
Mhm.
a lot of times you can't help but say like how in the world are you still lasting in this business, man?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like you are not only giving the industry a bad name, you're taking an opportunity away from someone else who will come in and do that deal or that transaction more justice than what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you made a lot of great points there. One of them being, your compensation with any business is directly tied to, like what you said, your competency and the knowledge you have of what you're doing in your craft. And then also like the amount of problems that you can solve.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
Like there's
That's
so many
huge.
clients that come to me where, like let's use like a rate shopper for example,
Yep.
right? So, I was on a call with my team earlier this week and I just hired a loan officer. She starts on Tuesday. So by the time this goes out, she'll already be here. But she's in Ohio, brand new loan officer
Oh
coming
sweet.
in. She just got 3 deals. Like as soon as she moved to like left her last job, she got 3 deals that just fell in her lap,
Oh
right?
wow.
Because like I guess there's a long story there, but regardless, um, so she's moving over. She gets 3 deals like in the transitional
Mm-hmm.
period. So I'm starting these loans here.
Mm-hmm.
They're all conventional buyers buying around 400,000, putting down 20%, and they're all like well qualified. We know they're going to shop the rate around because that's just who
Yep.
those
That's what
people are,
consumers do.
right?
Yep.
And so, compared to like, myself, I do a lot more of the FHA first time home buyer stuff.
Yep.
They don't shop around as much, but those clients are a lot more difficult to work with because of their scenarios,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I was telling her, I'm like, hey, don't worry. Like, we have the different tiers for a reason. Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
give a pricing exception if you need to win the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained this to her as like, I would rather like I don't like as long as I get a deal in, like that's all I care about really,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're getting, deals in the door.
Yes,
If I
sir.
have to give a discount, that's fine. But I'm gonna give it, I'm basically giving a discount and proportionate to the amount of work that I have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not this isn't like every single time this happens, but let's say a client comes in, they're well qualified, they're putting down 20%, they've been in their job for 5 years, they got the cash saved up. In reality, the time I'm gonna take to structure that deal and get it done is significantly less time than somebody who's a first time home buyer
Exactly.
that's getting a gift from mom and dad,
Exactly.
that they just started their job. So now we got to get pay stubs in, we got to
Yep.
calculate the income,
Yep.
all of that stuff. Like those, I know that I'm working harder on this deal than this deal. So if we have to match, whatever other lenders on that
Mm-hmm.
deal, then
Mm-hmm.
okay, we'll match or we'll beat them in pricing. I'll make a little bit less on it, but it takes me less time to do that deal.
Yeah. You're solving a problem.
Exactly.
And man, this is good, man, because I wholesale as well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, so when I first started wholesaling, it wasn't like, yo, I want to build a wholesale business. I watched some YouTube videos and
Yeah.
now people are getting rich. It wasn't that. What it was I was cold calling sellers,
Yep.
expired leads, and I was talking to these sellers, obviously giving my spiel on, hey, like, my service, here's what I provide, here's how the scenario can be different. But they flat out told me, John, they was like, I don't want to work with no more realtors.
Yeah.
I just want to be done with this. I just want a cash offer and I want out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't want to hang up this phone right now because you just told me that you still have a problem that hasn't been solved yet. And I know that I have a solution.
Yeah.
So here's what I do. I'll freaking buy it.
Yeah.
I'll put it on a contract.
Yeah.
Right. But again, like you said, like being the problem solver, I had another deal, man, where like, because here's the thing, and I say this all the time, John. Every property is not retail.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Every property is not retail, but like if you are a one-stop shop agent
Yeah.
and you don't have other avenues to solve problems,
Hmm.
like you're limiting yourself.
Exactly.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I had this one seller that she had a buttload of loans, man. Like she took out so many HELOCs and all that stuff like that.
Jeez.
She was upside down, but she had a tenant in it
Yeah.
who, she was paying below market rent and stuff like that.
Sure.
So obviously, like she just wants to get out of this.
Yeah.
Now, any other agent is like, I can't help you because if you don't have money to bring to closing, then we're just not going to be able to close, right?
Right. Right.
Well, because I'm in the world of investing, I knew about creative finance
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And we provided a solution for
Yeah.
her to actually get money at closing and for us to be able to acquire the property. But
Nice.
that's problem solving.
Right. Exactly.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
100%.
So man, that was a great point, bro. Be a problem solver, man.
Yeah.
If you can solve people problems, the money will follow.
Exactly. And that's what I would say too. Like, in, going back to what we talked about before, like, I think that there is a certain percentage of people that get into whatever industry because they think, oh, I get in this industry, I'm going to sip champagne, drive a
Right.
Ferrari, and
Right.
I'm going to go to
Pop
brokers
bottles all the
opens.
time. Right.
Exactly. Right. And, that's just not the case. Like, even,
Exactly.
I know that Selling Sunset's not real, right? Like, obviously,
Right.
there's like everything is
Man, that's the one of the
fake.
most ratchet TV shows I ever. I'm like,
But if
what?
you look
Why y'all
at,
showing like real estate ratchet? I mean, real estate is ratchet. Don't
no,
get me
for sure,
wrong, but
100%.
I don't know if it's that ratchet.
Well, but if you look at, like, this just thought just popped in my head. If you look at like Selling Sunset, you've got, Brett and Jason that own the brokerage, right? They're
Okay.
not at every event. They're not at
Right.
every, they're at the team meetings at the office, they're working, right?
Right.
And so that's where, like, and take that with whatever you will, but like at a certain level, if you want to be, an agent that's making money, or that's, just having a successful career, whatever that looks like to you, right? You have to be in the trenches, learning, perfecting your
Absolutely.
craft, everything else. And this, like,
Absolutely.
one question I wanted to ask you too is, I got in that post talking about, like, for anyone that didn't see the post, I was really posing a question that I'd seen from somebody else on my feed,
Yeah.
about, you know, should there be more, um, like licensing requirements above and beyond what we currently have, right?
Right.
And if so, what would those look like?
Right.
And then how would that really show or demonstrate to the average consumer that real estate is a more professional craft than what most people assume it is currently,
Correct.
right? Which I think is, those are all fair, questions, I feel like.
100%.
I got a lot of pushback from a few people that were specifically either team leaders, managing brokers, or had some sort of vested interest in the brokerage that they worked with, right?
Sure.
And then I had people like yourself who have very similar positions or higher positions than
Mm-hmm.
these people, or the same exact positions,
Mm-hmm.
that you had a different perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I guess take me through, like, what your thoughts are on that, how that was able to, how you were able to see it differently.
Yeah, because if if I'm not mistaken, I believe I posed it as is multifaceted.
Hmm.
Is really multifolded because I do believe that the standard should be raised.
Sure.
Because um, there are a number of people who get into the industry, like you said, with these skewed perspectives
Hmm.
about what real estate is, and I'm about to make all of this money, and I'm about to get rich and stuff like that. And then they don't spend the time in their business, they don't spend the time learning the craft, and they
Hmm.
hurt people,
Yeah.
financially or whatever the case may be. So some level of apprenticeship needs to happen.
Hmm.
Some level of required training, right, needs to take place
Sure.
before before the brokerage gives you confidence to be able to go out and represent people on your own. Because the
Right.
thing is, as managing brokers, we have vicarious liability,
Hmm.
which is essentially we can be held liable also for the actions of the agents.
Right.
So it's in our best interest to figure out, okay, how can we protect ourselves in the brokerage and also the agents?
Right.
So I do think that that bar needs to be raised. But then on the other side of the spectrum, though, you do have a segment of newer agents coming into the industry with some experience in a professional background, whether they, are running another business, outside of real estate, or, maybe they had some other real estate experience. Like I've had a lot of flippers in my class. I've had a lot of people working in economic development in certain municipalities and things of that sort. And they just have the intangibles already kind of built out within
Sure.
themselves to hit the ground running, and all they need is really just some training wheels for a temporary short span of time for them to
Yeah.
be able to run on their own. And so, with that being said, like, I feel like we really need to look at this in two different lenses and say new agents aren't the only issue in this industry,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of tenured agents, man,
Right. For sure.
who are bad, bro. I
Yeah.
I just got to
Absolutely.
be honest, and and again, it's not necessarily bad in them as a person,
Hmm.
but bad in their business
For
practices.
sure. Yeah. I don't think that any of this is really, and if anyone felt that it was this way, then my apologies. But I don't think either of us were attacking anybody personally.
Correct,
It's literally just, hey, how do we elevate our profession so that the consumer sentiment is, hey, real estate's actually a profession now,
correct, correct. And
For sure.
here's the thing. Quite honestly, man, there's also some shady consumers, man. Like
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
you know what
100%.
I'm saying?
Yes.
They always looking for a deal. They always looking
Yeah,
for a shortcut. They always looking to shortchange us.
exactly.
And we should never diminish our value of our service just to appease, the consumer, because
Exactly.
there's certain deals that I walked away from, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm not going to devalue myself. Like, you probably need to look for someone else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
But then the other end of the spectrum, where you're seeing some of these professionals squeeze everything out of a consumer just for
Hmm.
them to have the one leg up and just for them to be able to make more money.
Right.
And these tenured agents are teaching the newer agents to do that.
Right.
That should be cut out.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
that should be cut out, because again, like, one, we have fiduciary duties,
Right.
right? And we have the fiduciary duty of loyalty, which is putting the client's best interest before ours, right?
Right.
But in practice, we're really seeing it the other way around, right? And
Yeah.
so my stance on that post was really like, hey, like, let's look at this from two different lenses, and let's kind of put things in tiers and in buckets.
Hmm.
Because do agents need to spend time in training and gaining the competency and gaining the confidence right when they get licensed? Absolutely. But I don't think that should be necessarily across the board.
Hmm.
um because again, like, you got agents who come in, bro, and all they need, man, is about a solid 2 3 months
Yeah.
of just good training, and it's like, okay, I got it,
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
really, as a new agent, the first year, the first 2 years, bruh, it's like you say, you in the trenches. You trying to
Yeah.
build your pipeline, you trying to get your footing and stuff like that. But man, there are agents who come out on fire, man. You just mentioned you just got a new LO. She cranking
Yeah.
out 3 4 deals already. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you
Exactly.
got agents doing that the same way. But then also you got other agents who are just like, yo, how can I make the most money in the shortest time span possible?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. For sure. And, going back to this is another point that I was, or another question I was asking in the comments of that post is, so you've got, let's say, I'm sure there's brokerages like this that they'll just, their main mission is recruit as many agents as possible,
Mm-hmm.
throw everything against the wall,
Mm-hmm.
see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have 200 agents in your market center or your, whatever they call it,
Mm-hmm.
then, you've got like, you will make money because you're going to have, that's just enough people that they'll bring
Oh
deals in.
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, numbers, yeah.
Versus, let's say someone that, I feel like has your approach where like you are a managing broker, you run a team and you have a school. So you're
Mm-hmm.
doing all the same things that a lot of these other brokerages are potentially doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're focused on the quality of the agent themselves,
100%.
you can do, maybe you're not doing the same amount of business, but it's more sustainable. You're not losing age. You're not actively recruiting agents as frequently as other brokers are to replace the ones that are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then, overall, you're probably also getting less calls from and complaints from consumers or other professionals because you're one, managing less people, but two, those people have, not just that those people have higher ethics, but they actually have more training and they know what they're doing more. So it's just easier all around for you to be as effective.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like with my team, the Hardy Group, like there's a standard, bro.
Hmm.
And I told my team that I don't want a very large team.
Yeah.
I have 10 members right now.
Yeah.
And I told them
Still a
that,
pretty big team.
yeah, it is. I mean, compared to a lot of other teams,
No,
but
for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
like over in Illinois, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I know a lot of, big teams and big brokerages and stuff like that. I
For
mean, they
sure.
got teams of 20 plus and stuff
For
like
sure.
that. Like, I feel like that's some big team, but
Yeah.
a team of 10, I feel like is good enough for me to be able to kind of still focus on their individual business and help them grow and things like that. But also, man, I put a standard on my team in
Yeah.
that, like, yo, like, whoever we work with on the other side, I want them to say, like, yo, like, that was good professional quality service.
Yeah.
Right. And because not only just good reviews from the consumers and the clients, but also good reviews from our fellow agents.
Yeah.
That you guys like to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, man, like you said, like it's some people, man, and some teams and some brokerages, bro, it's just all numbers. Like, give me the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just hope that the good sticks out more than the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, however you run your business is however you run your business. No one can say anything against it. But at the same time, though, man, it's like, man, like, are we ever going to set the standard and the bar for
Right.
what we want our brand to be associated with?
Right. Exactly. 100%.
You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, like, that's what people are going to associate your brand with.
Right.
Right. And a lot, unfortunately, it seemed like the bad, like sometimes sticks or outweighs the good in a lot of instances where you may have a lot of good agents killing in that business, but the people are only going to remember the people out here doing shady business.
Right.
And that's what they're going to associate with your brand.
Exactly.
And that's just not anything that I want for my team.
No, for sure. And so I guess the question that I was posing in that as well is, like, I think that opens this massive opportunity for, either current team leaders like yourself or people that are establishing teams now, that if you have that standard and you're setting that, you're actually, not only are you going to attract the top talent, but you're going to, scare away or detract
Mhm.
from the people that you don't want working with you anyways.
Correct.
Right. And so, like, I think that's, it's something that I've dealt with in my business where I'm like, okay, I want to attract a certain level of agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
To work with me. So
Mhm.
I've got, I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Correct.
And that's intentional
Correct.
because I want to scare away the certain agents that are going to be more difficult, that like more of a challenge or more trouble, right? Than like what they're actually bringing to the business, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the same with, any, like, whether you're building a team or you run a business, like there are consumers out there that you just don't want to work with.
100%. And let me also insert this as well. I'm not necessarily looking or actively recruiting cream of the crop. Now,
Right.
if a cream of the crop agent wants to partner with me,
Mhm.
because that's what I consider it. Like, you're not working for me, you're partnering with me.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I like that.
And so if you want to partner with me and we work together, okay, that's cool. I'm really looking for people who are sponges
Mhm.
and whose ego don't get in the way.
Yep.
Because the thing is, you can be a new agent with a huge ego that you don't listen to anything.
Right.
You don't have the patience to learn. You want to make this big money now.
Mhm.
And it's like you said, I'm not your cup of tea, bro.
Right.
Because here's the thing. Of course, I want you to be in a successful position and be able to make good money.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, though, in order for you to have durability,
Mhm.
because here's the thing, you can come in and if the market is really hot, you're gonna look like a rock star.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you were in the business at that time, man. Think about how many agents looked like rock stars in 2020.
Oh yeah.
And did not do any marketing, bro.
Right.
Did not
Yeah.
didn't read over their contracts,
No.
like, and they look like superstars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now, because we're in a different market and
Yeah.
we actually have to do our job, the
Yeah.
tables have turned.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
There's so many agents that like, because I remember this is back when I still call agents, but like that was all my sales activity and marketing was calling agents, right? So I've been that guy that's just been sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then over the last like 2 years, I've moved more to marketing and sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from 2020, well, let's say like 2022 was really when rates started to shoot up.
Mm-hmm.
So from like the end of 21 to the end of 22, like that 12-month period,
Mm-hmm.
literally I was getting probably 50 plus leads a month and those are all referrals from the agents that I was working with.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally went from that to I was getting like 25 or less leads a month. So my leads got halved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, like, not only am I getting half my leads, but like all my agents aren't, like they're not calling me back. I'm going to voicemail, doing whatever. So I'm like, okay, like I started thinking like, okay, did I do something wrong? Did I piss off this many people? Like you always get in your own head when things aren't working, right?
100%.
And so I'm like, okay, like, let me just figure it out. And then, this program came out where, you could actually look up like agent production. It's not 100% accurate, but you can look up and see what's going on. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to, log into this. I'm going to check it out and see what's going on. And I realized like, okay, I had worked like, let's say 50 agents that had sent me a lead that year in 2021. Of all those agents, I think that there was maybe half of them were still active. And the half that were still active, their business was also halved as well because it's just the market, right?
100%, bro.
And so I think that to your point, like absolutely, there's so many agents that, and just agents, lenders, anyone that's in the real estate business, you like the entire industry dried up in 2022.
Oh yeah.
And then now the only reason why, like, not the only reason, but one of the reasons, biggest contributing factors to where I'm busy, a lot of the agents that I work with, we're all busy right now. It's because there's like that other half of the industry is completely gone now.
Oh yeah.
And so the same amount of deals are being done right now from 2022, but you have significantly less real estate professionals.
Yep.
So it's looking like everyone's doing more.
Yep.
And to be fair, like with myself and the other agents I work with as well, like we are doing more work now than we were in 2022 for
100%,
sure. 100%.
100%.
But the market is also less saturated. So the marketing impressions are better.
Yep. And that's what I was talking about that mass exodus, man. And and I also say this to my agents on my team, that in this market, especially if you're going to be a full-time agent, you have to have other avenues and different streams, of income.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, like, even when you look at NAR numbers of the average salary for, or the average compensation for a real estate agent, I mean, it ain't much, man.
Yeah.
I think it said only 10% of the agents make over 100 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds
And
about
so, and so like, it's like, okay, like, there are agents out here, man. I have a few agents at my brokerage, man, cranking well over six figures every year, even till now. But as a newer agent, though, like realistically in this market, as opposed to 2020, you're not going to be coming in cranking over six figures. You know what I mean? And so, I get a lot of agents who want to partner with me, who's like, yo, I'm still working the job, but I'm thinking about leaving my job. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
hold up.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way to leverage that.
Yeah.
Right. Let's figure out a way to leverage it, unless you have a contingency plan,
Right.
unless you got some reserves saved up, stuff like that, and you can kind of last the next 6 months. But if you don't, let's leverage that business. Let's make sure all your coworkers know that you're in real estate. Let's be able to, if you're working at a school or whatever the case may be, like, let these parents know and start to build your pipeline and start to actually build a contingency plan. But to your point, like, that mass exodus weeded out a lot of the people who did not want to work. Right. Now we got people in the industry. Now we got a lot of agents picking up part-time jobs and things of that sort. And to be honest, man, I thank God every day, man, because I've just been blessed to be in different avenues of real estate and be able to get income from different avenues. Right.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody.
Right.
But like, if you want to last in this industry, in this business, like, you got to put in the time and the work, bro.
Right.
You got to.
Absolutely. You got to put it is a grind. I think that like I got in the business in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So, so like when I got in, it was pretty much, hey, you do the work and you'll get the result, right?
Yep.
And I don't want to always focus on money. I think the result is also like just closing deals, helping out families, doing whatever,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But you do the work, you get the result.
Yep.
Then you had like late 2019 is when I switched over from my first company I was with to Celebrity Home Loans. And like literally as soon as I got there, we had a little bit better pricing. We had some more products, some more things that I didn't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, let me like learn more stuff now. And then as soon as that happened, 2020 rips off, rates drop. Now I'm refinancing my entire past client database, and I'm also getting a ton of more deals in with agents.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, you give 50% of the effort,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're still getting the same result,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'll do 100% of the effort. I'm getting 200 to 300% of the results, right?
Yep.
And then everyone got used to that
Mm.
because that lasted for about 2.5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, it then immediately pulled back. And it was like you had to do 3 or 4 times as much
Yeah.
to get
Yep.
the 100% of the results,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so now we're kind of getting back into that market. I feel like where it's a little bit even, of results to action, or action to results. And I think that that's just it's the roller coaster of the industry.
100%.
But it also, it does weed out and prune a lot of the people that get into the business for the wrong reasons.
100%. Man, I have so much respect for a lot of my colleagues in this industry
Yeah.
who are like, because I follow quite a few of them on Facebook, but just everyday grinding.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have teams as well, and you can see them pouring into their team members, and their team members experience success. Like that's what gives me hope for this
Yeah.
industry. Is that like, oh man, I'm about to say something, John, because there are a lot of people out here with teams. When you look at their sales volume is not indicative of what they're doing, but is what
Right.
their team doing.
Uh-huh.
Because the trick of the trade for a lot of them is all of my team members, all their deals, I have to be on
Yep.
because I want that production.
Yep.
So you showing you did 30, 40 mil in production. Nah, man, your team did 30, 40
Yeah,
mil.
exactly.
You know what I'm
I think I know
saying?
exactly who you're talking about
You
too, which
know,
is funny.
and it's like, at the end of the day, your team members aren't even celebrated really. You're celebrated because you're the
Yeah,
team leader.
exactly. Yep.
And it's like,
100%.
come on, bro.
Yeah, no, that's
You know what I
exactly.
mean? But
Yeah.
like, shout out to those. Now, here's the thing: if you are doing that, but at the same time, still pouring into your teammates and still highlighting them,
Right.
like that's something I can take. But
For sure.
don't glorify yourself and like,
Right.
oh, I do 40 million a year.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Your
Yeah.
team does 40 million.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think that like you hit the nail on the head with that. Like there's a few different agents that I know that are like that. Where, like you said, they do 30 or 40 million. They're like, yeah, I did this. And it's like, no, your team did that. Right. And again,
Exactly.
like props to them for putting together the team. They've got the people there. Everyone's signed up and signed that agreement to put the production in this person's name.
Yep.
So not hating.
Yep.
But like myself, I have that agreement with one of my loan officers.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is an employee of my branch.
Mm-hmm.
He closes, like he's my loan officer assistant as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like I actually pay him a salary to do a different job than just being
Mhm.
an originator.
Mhm.
I told him, I was like, your personal deals, I still want to put those in my name
Mhm.
because like, if you were a self-gen loan officer, I probably wouldn't do that.
Mhm.
But you're not a self-gen loan officer. You are you're my employee and, employee of the branch, and, you also produce as well. Right.
Yeah.
But my production is not my production anymore.
Yep.
So whenever I'm referencing my production, I say my branch's production
Yep.
or like our team's production. Right.
Yep.
It's not coming from a level of ego of like, oh yeah, I did this. Cause like, I know that in reality, it wasn't all me,
Yep. Yep.
And even when I was a solo loan officer and I was still doing like everything was self-gen in my name. And, I still had closers that worked on the file, I still had underwriters that worked on the file, I still had processors. So it's always been a team effort, even as a solo producer.
Man, if I could say this too, man, Michael Jordan is probably the greatest player of all time, man.
Yeah.
And when people talk about the greatest player of all time, they talk about him and how he has 6 rings.
Yeah.
He didn't beat the Utah Jazz by himself.
No.
He didn't beat
No.
the Phoenix Suns. He needed Scottie Pippen. He
Yeah.
needed Rodman. He needed, you know what I mean? And so my thing is like, yo, like highlight your team
Yeah.
because here's the thing, I really believe in this notion of training, equipping, and sending out. Like at some point, people on my team who are newer agents, at some point they're going to be top producers, and maybe they want to start their own team one day, or
Yeah.
maybe what they want to open up their own brokers one day, and that's totally fine.
Right.
But it's like the success that we are garnishing, we all should be celebrated for it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, here's the thing: the other side of the story is if you're most people join teams to get leads, right?
Right.
So if you're providing them leads, then that's a different story because
Exactly. Yeah.
you're like you're saying you're generating that business for them that they're
Yeah.
executing and carrying out. Then of
Exactly.
course you should be on that.
For sure.
But to be on people's sphere deals,
Yeah.
when they work their own database and work their own pipelines to get their
Yeah.
own business, and you're like, oh, you did all the work, but I just want my name on it so I get the production.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah. No,
come on.
exactly. It's I'm
You know?
100%. I'm with you on that for sure.
Like,
Dude,
come on, man.
it's a little. I feel like it's a little disingenuous, and especially if you're bragging about it like it's your own production.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But see, I say that to say, because on the post, I think I kind of alluded to it a little bit that, social media and even any media, like you can literally create a perception,
For sure.
And like, we glorify, these agents. Oh man, they did 30 mil, they did 40 mil. I hope to get my business to that point one day and things like that. But then when you start to peel back the layers, you start to see truth. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You start to see, oh, they not really cranking out individual deals like that. Like I'm not far behind the curve. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you can see okay, like this perception of real estate that the public is seeing, it's a skewed perception.
Yeah.
And if I can focus on my own lane and build my own business and stop worrying about all of the different, things that are going on that ain't really truth, then I can actually, build a sustainable business because we got a lot of comparison in this industry.
Yeah.
Like you see, people, oh, I just cranked out 20 deals this month. No, man, your team cranked out 20 deals
Right.
this month. You
Yeah.
did too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that a lot of times too, like, I've been super guilty of this is like I'll compare myself to other loan officers, right? And it's just not a healthy thing to do
No.
in reality.
No.
But also like there's a lot of times where, and again, this isn't healthy either, but where like I'll see somebody that, I'm like, okay, like this person, are they really all about that? I look at their production, I'm like, yeah, they closed 2 loans last month and I closed 8. I'm like,
Bro,
okay, all right.
bro.
I'm like, I feel better about myself now.
Man, let me say this, man. I've learned a long time ago, man. In this industry, people put their identity in their sales production.
For sure, 100%. I'm guilty of that.
It's my volume. It's who I am. And
Yeah.
I wear it as a badge of honor because I'm proud of myself of the work I put in.
Yeah.
But if your end goal, let's just say you have a monetary end goal,
Mhm.
right? You want to make 200 grand a year, right? They made 200 grand a year because they did it this way. You made 200 grand, but you just did it a different way. You didn't do it like them. You may not have done the volume that they did, but the price points that you were selling more high-end houses and you get more compensation from it and things like that. So I didn't sell as many houses as you did. I sold less houses, but I still made the same amount of money. So
Right.
like, you see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's all perspective and it's all perception. And
Yeah.
I've just learned a long time ago, like my real estate lane is my lane.
Yeah.
Right? Like, will I be, a $40 million, $50 million producer? Probably not. But I'm in so many other avenues. I'm flipping houses. I'm wholesaling. I'm brokering. I have my own team. I'm a
Mhm.
school director. I'm a managing broker. And it's like whatever my goals are going to be completely different than yours.
Exactly.
And our stories are not the same.
Right.
So now because of that, I can celebrate you
Right.
without fake celebrating you.
Right.
Without
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
oh, that's so good, but I'm hating at the same time.
Right.
Like, no, like if you win it, like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Do your thing.
Yeah. Exactly. I think
So-
for sure. I think if you're clear with yourself on the direction that you want to take your life. Everyone's life's different. Everyone can have different goals. You don't have to, you're not unsuccessful in real estate if you're not closing 20 million a year, right? You
100%.
can be successful in real estate and close 5 million a year.
Oh man, let me say this too, man. There's an agent in Illinois. I believe he's a top agent, a top residential agent in Illinois. And I knew somebody who knows him pretty well, and they kind of told me his daily routine,
Okay.
and I was just sitting there like, that could never be me.
Yeah.
Now, shout out to him for him making it work,
Yeah.
and his family, being able to embrace that.
Right.
But I'm like, my values would not allow me to work like that.
Right. Oh, for
because
sure.
because let's be truthful and honest, like that's what we celebrate,
Right.
right? Like we celebrate, oh man, this person woke up at 4 a.m. and by 6 a.m. they in the office and then cold calling and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool, man, but like I got other things that I value in life as well.
Right. For
i
sure.
still i still value family time.
Yeah.
I still value self-care.
Yeah.
When I retire, I still want to be here for quite a while and enjoy my retirement and not be in my sick bed because I worked myself to death.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
Exactly.
I think it all boils down to what you value, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you get to that end goal and you get to that point where you're making seven figures, whatever the case may be. Okay, now you win that badge of honor. But look what all you left behind in doing that.
Right.
Look at the moments you missed it with your family
Mm-hmm.
in doing that. Look at, you know what I mean? And so it's really all in value, bro.
Yeah.
It's what you value.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
It's all in what you value. It's, life obviously is exactly what it is that you make it. And, whatever your definition of success is, be truthful to that.
100%.
Like that was one thing that I learned from, a mentor of mine when it was like in 2023 or 2024. This person was like basically saying like, hey, no matter how much work you do, like you're not going to beat the market.
Right.
Because, like you can fill out, like we have a sales tracker or whatever. It's like you can fill out 2 sales trackers a week, which one sales tracker is a lot of work, but
Mm-hmm.
you're like, you fill out 2 a week and, you know, you'll like, all you need to do is, he gave me the formula and he's like, just work the plan.
Yep.
Like if you call, like you're supposed to call 20 people today, call those 20 people.
Yep.
You're supposed, like the goal is to have 12 conversations or 15 conversations.
Yep.
But you can't make people pick up the phone.
Right.
So if they don't pick up the phone, you made your 20 calls. That's okay. Or you talked to 15 people, but you didn't get 2 leads. And then you're supposed to get 2 leads every day.
Yep.
Maybe you got 1. It's okay. You did the work. It'll come at a certain point, and tie your happiness to the activity,
Yep.
not the result of the activity.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that, for anyone that's listening to this, you could be doing $1 million a year as a real estate agent or $100 million a year as a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what your goals are and you're actively doing the items that you need to hit those goals, you should feel fulfilled at the end of the day, regardless of you signing a deal or not, regardless of you getting a lead or not. Like
you should,
hey, I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do today. Like it was almost like, like playoff football, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be turnovers. Don't let it be you, right?
No.
So as long as you do your job, and if everyone has that mentality, you'll be fine.
Hard work pays off, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just be honest. And again, I bring an element of athletics into this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the long hours of practice, the individual workouts and things of that sort. And, you may still be losing games and, but the thing is that because we're putting in the work and because we're putting in the effort, it is progressing us towards our end goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that really should be the goal, is progression.
Yeah.
And, I read this book called Atomic Habits,
mm-hmm.
and it talked about the law of the 1%,
mm-hmm.
That every day I should at least be getting 1% better than yesterday.
Yep.
And as long as that there's that aggregate marginal improvement, where it's aggregating, it's compounding over time, eventually it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
Right. But if I don't do the work, I cannot justify not having the results.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? If I don't pick up the phone and call, you know, if I don't market myself on social media, if I don't, you know, tell people, you know, about my service and things of that sort, I have absolutely no business complaining about the deals that I'm not doing.
Right. Exactly. 100%.
You know,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
deals that you're not doing is predicated on the work that you're not doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And so, you know, my statement about that agent over in Illinois, like I said, like shout out to him. And honestly, there's a lot to learn from him because he's done so many deals. But you know, if your lifestyle don't align, then that's another thing. But at the same time, there should be one common denominator, and that should be our work ethic.
Right.
You know what I mean? That should be okay, especially if I'm a full-time agent. My day, I have to work my business almost like a 9 to 5. Like
Hmm.
for people who believe that business owners are people who just sit on their butt and go on vacation and then make a buttload of money, you are sadly mistaken.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There are independent contractors and 1099s who work harder now than they did on a W-2.
Oh,
I
100%.
mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a skewed perception.
Yeah.
And we have to pull in the work daily. So
Mhm.
that's one thing that I've been implementing is okay, like, you know, if I worked a W-2 job, there would be tasks that I would have to get done in this day. I had set hours,
Yep.
right? From this time to this time. That's how you have to work your business
100%. Yeah.
all day to see the
Absolutely.
results.
You have to, yeah, it's like, and this is one thing that I'm super guilty of as well, is not setting up the right boundaries in my business. But you have to, right? And like, it's easy for me not to set up boundaries because I have a girlfriend, but like maritally, I'm single, right?
Yeah.
And, no kids, like I've got 2 cats, right?
Mhm.
So my responsibilities that I have personally are like super low,
Yep.
right? So it's easy for me to fill up a lot of things because I don't have responsibilities and things to go around. But one thing I've neglected for the last, probably better part of 2 years was just getting my ass in the gym,
Yes, sir.
And so then, I go on the sales trip and I'm looking, seeing pictures. I'm like, man, I gained like, a lot of weight. So
Mm.
now I'm on a little fitness journey right now. I'm about 2 months in and, I'm down like 10 pounds or whatever.
Oh,
But
sweet. That's dope.
yeah, for sure. And so, like it's having those commitments to myself where, okay, like I need to, if I can't get in the gym 3 times a week, like then there is something seriously wrong with my business if I can't get in the gym 3 days a week. Right.
100%.
And so I think, for anyone that, might be like me where they just overcommit to things, like having those boundaries set in place. And it's okay. Like I have lost deals because like with my girlfriend, like we have a date night on Wednesdays, right? And I've lost deals because I've had that date night in my
Mhm.
schedule. And this
Mhm.
client's like, hey, I need to meet like today and go over these documents with you to get this, pre-approval set up so I can put an offer in. I'm like, great. I was like, I have to leave the office at 4. I can talk to you at 3 and we'll go 3 to 4 and then I'll leave the office.
Mhm.
And they don't show up on the call until 3:45. And I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna need to move this to tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, I can't do that. And then they go with somebody else. I'm like, okay, great. Like, bye, Felicia. Like,
Yeah, bye, Felicia.
I have no
I love
problem.
it, bro.
I have no problem saying no
I
because
love it, bro.
those are the same. If somebody doesn't like if you don't respect your own boundaries, nobody else is going
Nobody
to.
else will.
And the second thing is like, there are people like that will try and push and see where they can get.
100%.
And when you put them in their place like that, they'll either say like, okay, like this guy's legit, I'll comply,
100%.
or they're gonna say, no, I'm gonna go find somebody else to go, push their boundaries with, and fine, let them go.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
cool, man.
Yeah,
Man, dude, like that is real freedom.
yeah,
That is real freedom where I am not depending on your transaction.
exactly.
Like, bro, like you cannot run my life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And here's the thing, like, I'm glad you brought it up the way you did, in that, like, it's not that I didn't give you an opportunity. It's not that I didn't give you effort. It's not that I did anything on my behalf to, not put in effort for me.
yeah,
But it was just I had these things that I was unwilling to compromise with.
yeah,
That if you want me to jeopardize that and compromise that just for you to be able to get a deal done, to have the freedom to say, hey, bro, bye, Felicia.
yeah,
Like, bro, like that's real freedom
yeah,
in a business, man. Because like I said, bro, I don't lock up every deal, man. There are
yeah,
deals that I walk away from. I am not your guy.
yeah,
There are clients I had to fire.
yeah,
Like, no,
yeah,
like this is taking a toll on my mental, my physical, my car.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? That I'm
Yep,
just like this 2.5% or 3% or whatever I'm charging you. It ain't worth it at this point, bro.
for sure. Yeah. And I
You
think
know,
it's a good, like, I think that we're both good examples of this. Like, if you do the right things, you perfect the craft, you know what you're talking about, you have the knowledge, putting in the work, you will have the ability to say no to people that are going to tax you mentally, physically, emotionally, sometimes even ethically too.
one
Like,
hundred
there's a lot
percent,
of clients that reach out to me, they're like, hey, I need this done. And I'm like, well, like, that does go over the line of ethics.
one
So,
hundred
like,
percent,
I'm not going to do that.
one
Right.
hundred percent.
And, if you're I feel like a lot, especially the ethics thing too, like a lot of people, they will not that people who compromise ethically are always bad people.
No,
I think there's a lot of times there's desperation.
100%. Yeah, their back is against the wall.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, I need this deal to pay my bills." And so they will, potentially compromise themselves ethically to get a deal done because they have to pay their bills or do whatever, right? And so if you do the right things like we're talking about, you're not going to really need to be in a position like that. And then again, you can live life on your terms and you can run your business on your terms, which is really, if you look at anyone that you would deem successful in the industry, I feel like they are to a certain degree living life on their terms. Even maybe it's a top producer that
Absolutely.
their schedule is 100 hours a week. It's still their terms though. That's what they
You
signed up
know,
for. That's what they
it's
want
their
to do,
terms. Exactly. Exactly.
So any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
Man, this is absolutely phenomenal and awesome. And I feel like more conversations amongst real estate professionals need to be had,
Yeah.
on a more frequent basis. But man, thank you for having me. This was amazing. I got a lot of nuggets I took away from you.
Same over here, man.
And man, let's do this again,
I
bro.
love it.
This is awesome.
Absolutely. Where can the people find you?
So you can find me on Facebook at Timothy Hardy. You can also find me on Instagram at Timothy Hardy 20. And also I got a podcast also that I'm launching as well
Nice.
called the Enlightenment Podcast because I am a pastor as well.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be tying in faith, business, and real estate all together. And
Nice.
so yeah, you'll be able to find me on YouTube too.
There you go. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming out, and
Appreciate you, bro.
we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
All right, see ya.
Bye.